Alright, what's going on everyone out there on YouTube? NES Ruler, and welcome to a brand new review. And this time around, we'll be checking out a film that was sent to me review by Ronin Flix, and you can pick this up on Blu-ray at all your favorite online retailers. It is a film from the year 2020, and it stars Kevin James, and it is a film titled Becky. So it's kind of cool having Ronin Flix release this film, because they usually don't release very many contemporary films. So to have them start to dabble in some newer movies is pretty cool. And this edition is quite nice. We'll get into that in a little bit. But it's cool to see them starting to dabble with newer movies, because I love newer movies. But I remember when this came out, you know, it was all the hoopla in the entertainment industry that Kevin James was going to play a Nazi in a horror film. And he was staying away from his usual comedy act that he usually is known for. So I remember when this came out, it was all the talk of the town that Kevin James was going to be in this movie. And, you know, he does an okay job. We'll get into that in a second. But my main thoughts about this movie is that I just think it's about as average could be. I mean, it really doesn't really do anything or reinvent anything when it comes to the home invasion genre. It's pretty cut and paste from other films that we've seen. You know, we've seen 40 films like this. Lulu Wilson does do a pretty decent job in this movie. I think she overacts in some parts. I know I'm probably going to get canceled saying that because she's 15, but I think at the time when you're 15, it's okay to start critiquing somebody's acting. And I do think she overacts in some parts in this movie, but I feel like she does keep it together enough that the film doesn't become below average. So basically we follow Becky. Becky is a, rambunctious teenager who lives with her father. Her mother recently died of, I would assume, cancer, and now it's just her and her father. And one day they decide to go up to their lakeside cabin that they own, that they used to always go to as a family. And Becky's dad introduces her to his new fiance, who of course Becky doesn't like because she thinks he's stepping on her mom's toes. So of course there's that clash of stepmom, stepdaughter that's in this movie. That's like, okay, whatever. I've seen that a million times. But then we are introduced to Kevin James' character and his hoodlums who are basically getting transferred from prison to somewhere else, and they basically hijack the fan, and they are looking for this key that is very similar to a tattoo that Kevin James has on his hand, and this key lives in the cabin that Becky and her dad owns. So Kevin James, of course, breaks into the cabin. He's a Nazi, so he isn't very nice. And Becky basically picks them off one by one. And that's basically the movie. Kevin James trying to find the key, Becky killing these Nazi hoodlums one by one, and that's the end of the movie. It doesn't, like I said, doesn't really reinvent anything whatsoever. The kills are decent. They're more bloody than I thought. There's some CG in there, but most of them are practical. They look pretty decent. I feel like the kills is another thing that kind of holds this movie together from being complete boring garbage. I feel like also if they would have went the completely CG route, this movie probably just would have gotten tossed aside by the horror community. But it's well made enough that I feel like it's worth a watch at least once. I didn't watch this the year that it came out, so it was one that was on my radar. I might even have it on DVD. I'm not entirely sure, but it was one that I did have on my radar, so I was finally curious to check this one out. Like I said, nice presentation from Ronin Flix. Cool that they have they're starting to release modern films. Get this nice collector's edition slipcover. Nothing different from the keep case. It's exactly the same artwork, but it's still nice having a slipcover like this. And then you just get your disc. It's a pretty good disc art, I have to say, and the original poster art right there. So not too much in the terms of insides, but I do like that disc art. I give them credit that they did something a little bit different. So from the features, we have an introduction from the directors, which is like, it's kind of a waste of time. It's like 10 seconds long. They just say, oh, hey, this is blah, blah, blah. You're watching Becky, blah. It's just like, doesn't really contribute anything to the viewing experience. It's cool that it's on there, but literally they're like 13-second introductions, and they don't really contribute anything to the movie. And then you have another featurette where the director's really talking about, you know, they're making the movies. And then you have some more interviews with some of the directors, Lulu Wilson and Joe McHale. And then some behind the scenes and a commentary track from Lulu Wilson and the screenwriter. And that is what you get in the package. So it's a modern film, looks good, sounds good, not going to get into that. But, you know, Becky, it's an average film. I found it fine for a one-time watch, and it's cool that Ronin is releasing these new films. So that is my review of Becky. If you guys like this review, please give it a thumbs up. And so as you can follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/NESRuler22. Hope everybody's doing well, and I shall talk to you guys soon. See you guys.